This one change will fix everything for the Dallas Mavericks, and we already saw this change in last night's win against the Toronto Raptors. In that game, yes, we still ran the usual starting five of Cooper Flag at the 1, Clay at the 2, PJ at the 3, AD at the 4, and Lively at the 5. But in that first substitution, we saw D'Angelo Russell really early in the first quarter, and that's when everything changed. The ball was actually moving. Guys were able to get good quality shots. The defense was there. We were still able to get to the free throw line and get more points. Now, we were down by 2 at the first half, but we did see something that was working. An actual point guard in the actual rotation. And in the third quarter, everything finally clicked for the Mavericks, and they ran away with it, beating the Toronto Raptors by 10 points. But that was the change that we needed to see, an actual point guard. And that answer came in the form of D'Angelo Russell. And with his play last night, there's no doubt in my mind that we won't see a similar performance from D'Angelo Russell in tonight's game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. So in this video, we're going to take a look at D'Angelo Russell. What was it that he actually brought to the team? How did he impact winning? And what can Jason Kidd do to right this ship? But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with today's video, we're currently sitting at 22,062 subscribers. I just want to say thank you guys so much for all the love and support as we're hitting milestone after milestone after milestone. But if you want to be up to date on everything Mavericks related with our live streams, watch-alongs, news vids, and everything else in between, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on a single thing that we do. But the Dallas Mavericks had a pretty rough start to the season. We're currently 1-3, with our first 2 losses coming from the San Antonio Spurs and the Washington Wizards. Against the San Antonio Spurs season opener, there's a lot of nerves, a lot of jitters, trying to figure things out. The team hasn't played that much together yet, still need time to gel. Rightfully so, Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs are a better team than we thought, and we ended up losing in our season opener. That's fair. On Friday, we had a second game against the Washington Wizards with a chance to get an easy dub, a freebie, a gimme. And all we had to do was play a point guard. And guess what the Dallas Mavericks did? They chose to play all of our point guards the least amount of minutes out of any other position on our team. And we ended up losing to the Washington Wizards, where it felt like we had hit new lows. Losing to the Wizards should hurt anyone's ego, as they have been a pretty bad team in recent memory, but the Dallas Mavericks came out with the right energy against the Toronto Raptors. In our third game of the season, after losing to the Spurs, after losing to the Wizards, the Dallas Mavericks seemed to come out with better energy. The ball was moving, the defense was there, getting good shot selections from the right players, and the Dallas Mavericks were starting to get some rhythm. And like I said in the intro, yes, we were down by 2 at half, but things look good. With D'Angelo Russell on the court, other players were able to do what they do best. Cooper Flag able to attack the basket, getting emphatic dunks over anybody. PJ hitting threes. Max Christie as well as Najee Marshall off the bench, supplying great scoring, defense, and facilitation. The Dallas Mavericks were able to do everything right in that third quarter, and they ran away with it with a nice 10-point lead. But the one player that changed everything for the Dallas Mavericks in that game was D'Angelo Russell. And in that game last night, D'Angelo Russell had 24 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, was a team high plus 26, and his true shooting was 55%. Now, are we going to get this same D'Angelo Russell every night? No. Did D'Angelo Russell have a perfect game? No. In the first half, he shot horribly, but he was creating more offense than anybody. And although he was shooting pretty bad in the first half, he was responsible for a third of all of our points. When you take a look at his points and assists, he was responsible for a third. Something was working. Something was there. And whatever Jason Kidd said at halftime, it clicked. We turned things around. Where, funny enough, we had less turnovers in the second half than in the first half. In the first half, we had about 12 turnovers, and in the second half, we only had 3. When you watch last night's game, the number one issue, as has been all season long, was the turnovers. We had very little to no ball security. The second chance points, the points off turnovers, is what has been killing us. But the moment we could secure the ball with better passing, better handling of the ball, less turnovers, and more shot creation and stops on the defensive end that transition into offense, everything worked out best for the Mavericks, and we got a win. If last night's win against Toronto Raptors is an indication of what we can be when we're playing the right way, the Dallas Mavericks will be everything that they said that we could be and more. A lot of people, myself included, have the Dallas Mavericks as a top 4 to 6 team. They had the Dallas Mavericks. They had the Dallas Mavericks with a pretty decent win-loss ratio at the end of the season, a good record, whatever it may be. The Dallas Mavericks need to play the right way. This 2 timeline situation, a lot of fans are already fed up with it. How can you develop Cooper Flag while still competing? You need wins to do both. but somehow, some way, we will find a way. And just continuing with what we have today, I even had a tweet out the other day. Mavericks just finished the third quarter with 0 turnovers. And that was the biggest difference with D'Angelo Russell, with Najee Marshall, and even Cooper Flagg to an extent. Cooper Flagg did play a little bit of point guard in that third quarter, but just making sure we had very little turnovers was everything that changed for the Dallas Mavericks. That was everything. That was what worked. Guys were hitting shots. Guys were defending. Guys were getting to the line. We've actually been very good at getting to the free throw line so far this season, but we had a problem with the turnovers. In our second game against the Wizards, PJ had 9 turnovers, whereas yesterday he had way less, about 2 or 3, which is exactly what we need. The Dallas Mavericks has everything. Just ball security and three-point shooting are the 2 avenues, the 2 areas which we need to improve on, and D'Angelo Russell can provide that. And like I said, D'Angelo Russell may not give you 24 points off the bench every night. If he can give you 10 points and 5 assists, that's good enough. That's at the very least 20 points that he's responsible for through his own shot creation as well as creating for others. We don't have Kyrie Irving, but we have Ryan Nembhard. We have Brandon Williams. He's out for personal reasons, but we do have Brandon Williams. We have D'Angelo Russell, and at times we have Jaden Hardy. We have Najee Marshall, who can also play the 1 as well. But we have point guards. And the one thing that Jason Kidd said the other day that makes absolutely no sense to me is this. He said the Mavs are shorthanded at the point guard position. Jason Kidd, we're not shorthanded at the point guard position. You just refused to play any of our point guards in our first 2 games. Especially against the Washington Wizards, the point guard with the most minutes logged was Ryan Nembhard with about 10 minutes logged against the Washington Wizards. I'm not sure what it is that we're trying to do, but if we play an actual point guard who can play, make, facilitate, get the ball moving around, then the Dallas Mavericks can do everything else. If D'Lo facilitates, then Cooper Flagg can focus on what makes Cooper Flagg great. If D'Lo facilitates, that helps PJ do what PJ does great. That makes AD look good. That makes D-Live look a lot better than what he's been looking like. We can go to so many other players if we just play a point guard. And if D'Lo can continue to be as consistent as he was in last night's game, especially tonight against Oklahoma City Thunder, this will be a test for us. They've been starting off the season very, very hot. And although we have a really good record against the Oklahoma City Thunder, we don't want to take these games for granted. This should not be a game where we're testing out new things. We're trying something else new. We got to do exactly what we need to do to win to make sure we get a good momentum going. But we have a few quotes from Jason Kidd over the last few games. But Jason Kidd on D'Angelo Russell's 24-point performance, saying that's D'Lo. At his best, being able to play, make, score, and then find guys. And I thought he did a great job, not just on the offensive end, but also on the defensive end. And that's something that not enough people are talking about. A lot of people said that D'Lo's defense would be the end of us. That's how we were going to lose games, is by D'Lo just being a bad defender. But that's not what I saw last night. Was he the best defender? No. But was he trying on defense? Was he committed to defense? Not losing his man and make sure that he had a hand in the face? Absolutely. You can be mad at the results, but you can't be mad at the effort if the effort is there, and that's what D'Lo did last night. And with more minutes, I'm sure we can see more of that on a consistent basis. A lot of people told me that D'Lo is a rhythm player. You can't get into a rhythm in 9, 7, 8 minutes. 24 minutes had a very good outcome from D'Lo. But continuing with what Jason Kidd has been saying, Jason Kidd on what he'd like to see from D'Lo to get more playing time. This was after the Washington Wizards loss. Jason Kidd said this, saying, I think just rhythm. Understanding he had some good looks that just didn't go down. We got B, Will, and Ryan that we're trying to figure out which one we can play early here in the season. Understanding the depth of the team right now at that position, we're shorthanded. Everyone's going to get another crack on Sunday. And that's very weird to say, Jason Kidd, that we're shorthanded and you literally named 3 point guards that we currently have that you refuse to play. But yes, on Sunday, they did get a crack at it. Now, Brandon Williams wasn't available. Ryan Nembhard only really played in garbage time. But it was D'Lo that got extended run, and it was the Dallas Mavericks that benefited from having D'Angelo Russell. But the last thing that Jason Kidd did say on Friday in that loss against the Wizards, Jason Kidd, when asked why he didn't play D'Lo in the second half tonight, saying, I think the group that got us back in the game was a group that we were going to go with, and so he wasn't part of that. Russell has played a combined 24 minutes over the 2 games for Dallas. So in the first 2 games, Russell's playing 24 minutes in only 2 games. But in last night's win against the Toronto Raptors, D'Angelo Russell played 24 minutes, and we actually got quality play. So maybe Jason Kidd and the coaches are trying to figure out that, maybe we do need a point guard. Maybe having Cooper Flagg or PJ bring the ball down isn't necessarily the right answer right now. But while we have point guards, while we have D'Angelo Russell, Ryan Nembhard, Brandon Williams, we need to play these guys. Get them some minutes. Let them build up a rhythm. Let them gel with the rest of the team. We can't be too scared to let players fail because we don't think they'll succeed. A lot of these players will succeed, but you got to let them play through their failures. And I think D'Angelo Russell is exactly what the Dallas Mavericks team needs. I think he's exactly what will fix a lot of these problems. Aside from just having a point guard in general, D'Lo will deliver for the Mavericks, whether he's off the bench or starting. He needs quality minutes so we can win these quality games. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think that D'Lo is the answer? Do you think that he can continue to do what he did last night against the Thunder tonight? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. We'd have a conversation about it. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. And as always, y'all take care, drink water. Peace.